Okay, episode 34 starts with Lucinda telling everyone about her and Sean making it official. This is her telling the girls. For the most part, I think everyone was happy for her. It was just, I think it was awkward for these two, but they were trying to be happy for her, I think. Scott makes the comment that now that Sean has done that, all the girls are going to be looking at the guys to do something like make some sort of gesture or something. They show Whitney and Yaman, and they're having a nice date. And he's told her that he's looking out for the future and that he'll go to the UK. And she was saying he's her type, and they just had a nice date. Meanwhile, back at the villa, Scott is all worked up about Sean and Lucinda becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. To him, it doesn't make sense because they it's too soon, or they made a rash decision because it was emotional. Whatever. People like Scott. First of all, that's fine. You don't feel that way. They feel that way. Why are you so worked up about it? So Scott and Leanne are talking, and he's kind of talking about how like them like I don't their conversations are so confusing. Their communication is crazy. But Scott was like saying stuff like closed off, or not closed off, but being exclusive. I don't even know what he was trying to say. I was with Leanne. She was confused. He was trying to tell her, I guess, that he only wants to be with her, or he doesn't want to be with anyone else. But he's not. He doesn't want to be closed off, or say closed off. Or she said the closed off didn't mean anything, and being exclusive didn't mean anything either. And I thought he was agreeing, but I'm not sure what he was trying to say, and I'm not sure Scott knew what he was trying to say, and Leanne definitely didn't know what he was trying to say. They have communication issues. I'm confused. This was her saying what Scott was saying didn't make sense, because she was saying exclusive and boyfriend and girlfriend, or exclusive and closed off are the same thing. And he was like, no, it's not. It was crazy. But he did tell her, I was trying to do something nice. This conversation kind of took a turn. Yes, it did. Yaman and Whitney come back from their date. Yaman tells the guys that him and Whitney were already close, but this just brought them closer. She's describing the date to the girls, and she was talking about them being at the vineyard, the way she pronounced it. And then Scott, of course, piped in and was like, something else happened in the villa about Sean and Lucinda. So Yaman was like, congratulations. Everybody's getting ready for bed, and all the girls are dressed in their like sexy lingerie. And Whitney goes, she goes, is everybody showing legs? And Sammy goes, you didn't bring anything sexy? And she said, no, I didn't think I was going to meet anyone. So Scott was saying he feels like he needs reassurance. So is Scott just like really into Leanne, and he's scared to tell her? Or does he feel like she doesn't like him back? So it's the next day, and Helena's talking with Carrington, and she's saying that she's sorry that she kind of was projecting onto him, and when she said he didn't seem authentic and it seemed put on, and she apologized. I don't think she was wrong. I think everything she said was true, and I think that her instincts were correct, and she's ignoring them. I believe Lucinda was talking to Millie, and she was telling her, or it might have been Lucinda, but I can't remember. But she was telling her that whoever it was, that Sean said that he loved her, and she didn't say it back. She said she felt like she could have said it back, but it was just a lot. I think it was Leanne she was talking to. And Scott's talking about Sean and Lucinda again, surprise, surprise, about how he thinks they moved too fast. It was a rash decision, and they did it off of emotion. Who cares? It's not you. Jesse gets a text, and it says that the couple with the most votes was Lucinda and Sean. They're super excited about that. I mean, they just did it right there, then and there. I thought maybe they'd be at the fire pit or something, but I guess they're making a long story short. Belle gets a text, and her text is for the couple who had the least amount of votes and the couple that would be dumped from the island immediately. It was Helena and Harris, or Helena and Carrington. Yesterday, I was like, I couldn't figure out who would be going home out of all of them, who would get the least amount of votes. I kind of forgot about those two because that makes sense. Everybody says their goodbyes. It was sad. And then they left. And then they went to the interview that reminds me of the After Sun, which I'm not interested in. But Helena, they did talk a lot in that interview. They talked a lot about Jessie and how she was interjecting and stuff. I did see part of that. I did pay attention to that. I thought that was kind of weird, though. Their exit little interview was about Jessie. Tommy's taking it hard because him and Helena were really close. Scott's asking Whitney for advice, and I always kind of it's like cringy a little bit because I always feel like when he asks Whitney for advice, she always kind of throws shade at Leanne, but she didn't hear. I think she just told him to think things through. She did say that Leanne was wifey material, but then she said she's definitely wifey material, but just go slow or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like she's never really in Leanne's corner. The girls asked Whitney if her and Yemen are closed off, and she said, "We are, whether he likes it or not." I thought that was funny. Sean's talking about how annoyed he is at Scott for just being in their business. He was like, "We don't pay attention to what people say. We never have, and you shouldn't now because Scott's going to be Scott." Here, Millie is asking Leanne if she talked to Scott and told him that she wanted some kind of gesture or some kind of commitment, and Leanne goes, "I don't. I told him not to do anything if it's not meaningful." So here's Scott again asking for advice from Yemen and Whitney. For someone who's so opinionated, I'm surprised he asks for advice as much as he does. But they're telling him he's asking what he should do, and he genuinely wants to know. And Yemen was like, "Well, let me think about this." And Whitney was like, "Yeah, think. Just do something that's you speak from the heart." They were both telling him just speak from the heart, say what you mean, and don't try to cover anything up. Just speak from the heart. So he takes Leanne up to the terrace, and here they go with their communicating. He's talking to her, and he's trying to tell her, "I don't want to be with anyone else when we get out of here." The other weird thing he said was, Sean, when he was talking about Sean and Leanne or Lucinda, he was like, he doesn't know how his parents are gonna be with her or how they're gonna feel about her, and then but yet you tell Leanne you don't want to be with anyone else, but if your family doesn't like her, you're not gonna be with her. I don't know, because Sean was like, "Well, my family's not dating Lucinda, I am." So I just thought that was weird. Like, you don't want to be with anyone else, but if your family's not with it, you're not either. That's what I'm getting out of it. But anyway, he was talking to her, and he told her he was. I think she thought he was gonna close it off or something, or say boyfriend and girlfriend, and so he was telling her how he felt, and she's like, "Okay, okay, but let's get past this." She thought, and he was like, "Well, it's not really building up to anything." She was like, "Oh, okay, okay." So he was like, "I'm just telling you, this is what I want to be with you." And I think he's waiting for her to say something like, "I don't know. I'm not going to do anything when we get out of here either. I don't want to be with anybody else but you." But she told him that she felt that way before. So I'm not sure what he was waiting for her to say. So this whole conversation was awkward as well, just like the rest of their conversations. And I think he told her, "You're not going to see anyone. I'm not going to see anyone when we get out of here." And she was like, I can get behind that." She was like, "That's so." They were happy with the conversation, even though it was very confusing as always. But I think they ended in a good place.